Okay. Can you confirm if all of you are able to see my screen? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So, Seva ma'am is on mute today. So I'll just give a quick intro and then I'll get started. I do see a lot of people have joined. Welcome, Shakani ma'am. Welcome, Lakshmi ma'am. Okay, we will get started. Today we are going to talk about this book, Uncommon Sense Teaching. So before that, I welcome you all of you to Red Fort Forum, and all of you are familiar with Red Fort. So thank you so much for consistently showing the encouraging the presenters and showing up every day. So I'll get started with my presentation today on this book, Uncommon Sense Teaching. So this book, basically, I want to first ask you one question, like why do we need to understand the brain science of learning? Like we want, let's start with the reason why we want to learn this, so that it will help us in understanding this in a better way with a better context. So do you want to, I want to make it little more lively session today. So I'll ask you a few questions in the middle, so please feel free to answer. So I'll just start with the introduction and then we'll go forward. So this book is written by three authors. The first author is Barbara Oakley, Beth Rogowsky, and then Terrence Sejnowski. So these are the three authors. So they are like professors. All of them are like professors, and Terrence, shortly they call him Terry. So Terry is one of the top 10 neuroscientists in the US. He has done a lot of research in neuroscience. Barbara Oakley is someone who's continuously working in this field, helping students to learn better. And Beth Rogowsky herself had faced a lot of challenges in her childhood for in learning. So that's how she also entered into this field to help students to learn better. And also, like, it helps the teachers how to teach better. So uh, the reason why I wanted to present this book was I did a course in Coursera. This is the course name, Uncommon Sense Teaching. So the same course, same book is available as a course, and that course is very good. Like you won't even feel that you are going through some course. It's like full of animation in the background, and they talk very casual way, explaining the things, simplifying the complex things for us in simple terms, and making it a fun video to watch. So I would recommend, if possible, please register for this course and do it. It might not be a free course, but definitely like you will enjoy it, and you will feel really good that you did this course. So based on that, after that, I also got the book and I read the book. So this is the book. Okay, yeah. So same thing is covered in the course as well as in the book. So we'll go one by one. There are so many things in this book. I may not be able to cover everything because it's like a 5 hours course. But I wanted to bring the important core concepts here, which will really change our perspective towards learning. So that's what we are going to do. And Like I mentioned, neuroscience is very important in the field of education. If we understand the neuroscience, it will directly impact our learning, and it will directly impact our teaching as well. If we are a trainer or a teacher or a professor, so it will help us in becoming a better teacher as well. And understanding neuroscience also indirectly helps through the psychology of understanding how it works, that psychology indirectly helps us to improve our learning and also our teaching. So that is the importance of neuroscience in learning. First, I would like to start with a brief introduction about neurons in our brain. So these this image that you see here, this is how one neuron looks like. A neuron is a biological cell that is in our brain. So each one of us, we have like so many neurons in our brain, around 86 millions of neurons in our brain. So how these neurons work together, that's what is making this process of learning and understanding the concepts. So for that, let's understand how a neuron looks like. This is a shape of a neuron. It has like an arm. So in this top you see, it's an axon. This is called as axon. So in order to simplify it for us to understand easily, I'll use the term arm. So this neuron has an arm, and just think about like we have fingers, right? Like that. It has like a small finger kind of things here, and it also has legs. So these all are like legs. The legs, it is called as dendrites, and on top of that legs there are small spines. So consider them like toes in our leg. We have toes, right? Like that, it has small spines like this. So whenever we are learning something, or when we are processing some new information, what will happen is then this one neuron, it will try to reach out and connect with another neuron. So from this arm, there is this finger kind of thing is there. So this will try to go and reach the toes of another neuron. Okay. So and then it will connect like as shown in this small circle. So it will connect to another neuron, and then again that neuron will connect to another neuron. Like this, it will connect to multiple neurons in the brain. When this connection happens, when these two neurons come together, there is a signal that is passed from one neuron to the next neuron, and that signal is called synapse. So when that signal passes from this neuron to this, like an electrical signal or like a pulse of signal that passes through these neurons, that is how a thought is formed in our brain. So for that, this understanding how these neuron connects helps us to understand further about how we are learning things. Okay. So now we understood how the neuron connects to another neuron. So whenever we are learning something, what is happening? When we are listening to a lecture, or even like now we all have joined the session, listening to this session. So when you are listening to a new information, this first step happens is these neurons try to connect and in a sequential way. Like in the first image, it shows like a faded image of the neurons. That's how it tries to connect initially. Then as you keep listening, and it will keep connecting, and that pattern becomes little stronger here. It appears little more stronger here. So this is called the learning phase, learn it phase. So after this, what happens, like we are going and attending a lecture, or we are going for a workshop, we are learning some things. Okay, after this, when we are learning, the instructor is explaining us, we are coming across new things, we are learning new things. So that's when this pattern, this neuron has already connected in our brain. But now, will this be sufficient for us to remember it? No, because we have just formed the neural connection. We need to strengthen that neural connection in order to remember it for a long term. So if it has to be in our long term memory, if we have to remember this for a long time, it has to, the neural connection that we formed, it has to strengthen more. So that is where the second phase called link it comes. Link it. So in link it is where this we are whatever neural patterns has formed, we are trying to strengthen it. So now let's see how we can uh, strengthen this neural pattern. So I will have now I'll ask one question uh, to all of you. So once you have I have mentioned about this forming the neural pattern and now linking it and making it stronger, right? Can you guess in your experience of learning? I'll ask you one question. Of so out of these things, which one has helped you to remember the things for a longer term? Whether so options are whether rereading the material or going through it again. Second thing is like highlighting and underlining in case of reading. Third thing is retrieving what you have learned or recalling what you have learned. And fourth thing is like creating a concept map. So let me give a few minutes. If you want to, please unmute and share like which one do you think will strengthen your learning?
Concept map, ma'am, for me.
Concept map. Okay, ma'am. Very good. Yeah. Concept map helps to understand, give a overall picture, right? Okay. And that really helps learning. So very good, Ramya ma'am. Anyone else? Can you share?
Linking is one way, that's the best way of the method which you mentioned here, no? Linking your, that is the concept for mind map also.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Linking, we can do it with examples and analogy.
Yeah,
Are you? Yeah. Okay,
or
sir.
dates and incidents, or it can be sometimes, say we have a friend name, or it has to be with names, easily, rememberable. Such things we have to, link it. That's
Okay.
all. That is one method which I use actually.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, there are some tricks to like improve our memory, like mnemonics or linking it with other things. Okay, that's a very good point. Anyone else want to share?
Rereading helps, ma'am.
Rereading helps. Okay, okay, ma'am. Yeah, rereading again, trying to reread, go through it again, and trying to get familiar with what you're learning. So this all of these steps help us for learning. So when we were talking about these two steps in the learning, the learn it and link it. So strengthening the link of this neural pattern that we form, it happens through the process of retrieval, because when we are retrieving the information that we learned, the neural patterns will again connect together and it will pass that signal through these neurons. That is how these neurons are keep working together again and again. So when we are trying to retrieve something or recall something, it this neurons work together for us so that we are able to recall. Like that, the more we recall multiple times, this becomes stronger. At one point, when you have mastered a subject, your neural pattern will look like this. And not only that, you have this basic neural pattern that you have formed while you're learning, but also you are keep expanding your learning to learn broaden your learning new things in that same field. Like this, if you see, once you have mastered it, it will keep expanding. So this neural pattern becomes like very strong pattern. So it's where after a point you will just recall it effortlessly. You can You can just talk. If I ask something about the topic, you will just talk freely about it without even thinking. You will be able to um recall whatever you have learned. So that's how the retrieval process helps in strengthening this neural pattern. So now, how this can help us as a teacher. So if we are a teacher, when we are trying to teach something to our students, we can use this information, this thing what we have learned, that learn it and link it phase. There are two phase. So in order to strengthen this link it, strengthen the neural pattern, we need to put our students in link it phase. So we have to, either we can ask questions, like for example, you can put a question in the class and ask them to answer. Or after teaching a concept, you can ask the students to write what they have learned. They can write what they have learned in their own words. So when they are trying to do that, then they have to recall what they listened, and then they have to write it. That is also a retrieval process. Like that, do you have any other suggestion of retrieval practice or retrieval, how we can recall it? If you can, feel free to share, like in your experience, like which one helped.
Picturization. If you are drawing what you have learned, that is one way of retrieval.
Okay, okay.
Second, second, as I think somebody mentioned, no, whatever we studied after a 2 months or 3 months break, again, reiterating that, it will just a short term period. It can be 3 months or it can be 2 weeks or 1 week later or something. Again, or you are teaching someone. Even when you have studied a book, when you teach someone about that book, or when you are somebody who's telling, when you reiterate by telling, and then your ears are listening again. Those are the methods of easy, easy way of recalling.
Excellent, excellent, sir. Thank you so much. So the one point I wanted to explain was teaching someone. So you beautifully you brought that point here, explaining, learning something and trying to explain it to someone. So that's a very good example of retrieval practice. Thank you so much, sir. So in this book also they have talked about that, and that also goes with Richard Feynman's uh, quote that says, like, if you are able to teach someone or what you have learned, if you are able to teach a 5-year-old kid what you have learned, then that means you have mastered the subject. That means we are able to simplify and able to teach it to someone. So this will really help us to use the retrieval pattern. So like when we are studying as a group, if we study as a group, then we can learn something, we can explain it to partner, and they can learn some topic and they can explain it to us. While explaining, we will know, okay, this is something I'm not able to explain. Then we'll pause, we'll get back to that material, we'll try to learn it again, and then we'll try to explain it. So once we have understood it properly, we'll be able to explain it completely. That makes sense to the other person. So yeah, so that's a very good example. It's like teaching someone, and like this, there are a lot of ways to do this retrieval practice. Either you can explain someone, or like write the notes in your own words, or you can also try to like explain it, if you're not able to explain it in person, or you can create a video or something, like content creators, trainers do. They create a video content of what they are trying to teach, and then they will share it with others. Like that, you can use these steps. So we can also make sure students also follow this when we are teaching them. So that's about retrieval. So this is how, like initial, like learning, retrieving multiple times, retrieving it, it becomes like a very strong in our mind, in our brain. So after that, coming to the next topic, now let's learn about working memory. So what is working memory? So working memory is like in our consciousness, we have few things in our mind which we are dealing with right now. So you can imagine the working memory as an octopus juggling with the balls in his hands like this, multiple things in his hands. So this working memory is like the central executive for the function of our brain. So at one point you can have like few things in your working memory, and there will be like a primary focus on which you are focusing on. So that's where like this image, if you see this image, the working memory will put that item on this focus, and then it will our mind will try to connect this working memory with a long term memory and work on that particular thing that we are doing. um, so so what about this working memory, like why do we need to understand about working memory is, if we are a teacher, in case of teacher, if we have like multiple students in our class, each one will have different capacity of working memory. So we cannot expect everyone to have same amount of working memory. Some people will have more capacity. Like for example, they have a working memory with this kind of octopus with 5 legs. Another person might have only 3 legs. Like if this octopus has 3 legs, you can imagine. So they can only have few things in their mind when they are working on it. So that's the main thing about working memory. And one important thing here is the working memory keeps increasing as we grow, and it becomes stable when we become adult. So but in children the working memory is very less. That's why if you are giving some instruction to the children, they might forget easily. So we might get angry at them, but the fact is why they can't remember is, for the children the working memory is very less. So they cannot like hold lot of things at a time. So sometimes even if you say something, they cannot like follow immediately. But as we age, the working memory capacity stabilizes when we become adults, and it is same throughout our years. So it cannot be like changed to a greater extent. So this is like a fixed capacity, like okay, we have reached this amount, so working memory can only have this much capacity. So this will differentiate the different types of learners. So there are like two types of learners. One are race car learners and another is hiker learner. A race car learner is someone who has a very good working memory capacity. They have a bigger working memory capacity. So at same time they can hold a lot of things. They can process complex things. Even someone is explaining them very complex things, they will be able to process because they are able to hold everything simultaneously. But for hiker learners, have very lesser working memory capacity. That means they can only hold a few things concurrently. They cannot hold too many things, and if they try to hold like too many things, they will just drop all the. If just think about that octopus trying to juggle multiple balls, and finally like they can't balance everything and it will drop out. Everything will drop down like that. If for the hiker learner, the working memory capacity is lesser, so if they try to process more things, then they will like get stuck. So best thing I was able to connect to was like I'm a hiker learner, so I was able to connect to this concept very well, because for me, I understood while I was learning this that my working memory is very lesser, so I cannot hold too many things simultaneously. So this will help us to understand like different types of learners and which category we are. Okay, so now let's say like if we are a race car learner, uh, and if like we can learn things very fast, we are like very, we do things very quickly. But do we have to think that like hiker learner cannot learn things? So that is not the case, because we all are different. Everyone has different capacity. For hiker learners, the long-term memory will help them along work with the working memory so that they can learn things better. So that's how a hiker learner will learn. So the way of learning will become different for the hiker learners and the race car learners. So when you are giving assignment to a race car learner, you need to give them challenging assignments so that they will not get bored. Because if it's very simple, they are very quick in understanding, they'll solve it and they'll go to the next one, and they'll feel so bored. Okay, what more? I'm done with this. But in order to engage them, like we need to give them like complex problems, and to make them engaged with the problem that they are solving. And other than that, for race car learners, there is one disadvantage, that they will try to uh, give the answer quickly and move forward without rethinking whether they have given the right answer. For example, in the exam, okay, I know this problem, like they will be so quick. Okay, I know this problem. Okay, I will just answer this. But finally, there might be some mistake that might they might have missed it. Sometimes race car learner will also be convinced that they have done it correctly, and they will also be able to give a rational reasoning for the answer they have given. So that is one like side of a disadvantage for some race car learners. So if you are a race car learner, you can understand this and challenge yourself by giving you like complex things to work on, and make yourself a better learner. Coming to the hiker learner, as I said, the working memory is less, so they have to practice a lot. They will take a lot of time to practice repeatedly, and then they will learn it, and then it will go to their long term memory. So we will talk more about this in the future slides. So I wanted to cover like an important topic. So I know this is like a lot. So first I'll just cover the important topic, and then I'll come to the other things. So there are like two systems in which we learn things. There is declarative system, procedural system. So let's learn first about declarative system. So declarative system is where we are trying to learn things consciously, like listening to a lecture or reading a book, or trying to put some information, new information in front of us and trying to process it consciously with the help of a working memory and neocortex and hippocampus. So in our brain, we have a small organ called hippocampus. It looks like this two small shaped here in the center, and then in the behind of this, like you can see this cerebrum kind of thing, which is on top of our brain. That is like the neocortex. So to understand how this declarative system works, so author has given one parable to like connect it like a story. So author is giving a story and then trying to understand how this works. Because this is neuroscience, it's very hard to understand just with the terminologies. So I'll introduce you these two characters, Hip and Neo. There are like two characters here, and there is one working memory is the conductor. Consider like you are listening to an orchestra, orchestra like a practice of a choir. Okay, so this working memory is like an orchestrator, which will keep sending the information to these two person. Okay, hip is the hip is a person who will get that information from the orchestrator, and he will again teach it to Neo. So this character is called Neo. So she will learn the song, and then she has to, her role here is to learn the song, to keep repeating the song, keep repeating the song that she has learned, and then she has to memorize that song. So that is her job. And this person Hip, he will sing the song, whatever this working memory the orchestrator is sending, he will sing that and he will teach it to the neo neocortex, and then after that he will forget about it. So hip will forget after teaching it to neo. So this is like an orchestration choir. Okay, so now when a new information, when we are learning a new information, the orchestrator in the center, the working memory orchestrator in the center, it will send the information both to neo and to hip. They have to learn and memorize the song. Okay, just think of like A.R. Rahman is coming into the studio and he is giving the tune. Okay, guys, the singers are there. He's telling, okay, this is a tune. So practice this tune. This is the lyrics. So practice like that. He's giving it, and then he goes away. Okay, that A.R. Rahman is nothing but this working memory, the octopus which is doing the orchestration. And then this is like a senior singer. This hip is a senior singer, and this neo is a new singer who is trying to learn all the songs. So this will be more easier for us. So after that, what will happen? Okay, A.R. Rahman is coming and he's giving the tune, and hip is also singing it once and showing it to neo, and neo is also singing along with hip, and this is happening. Okay, then A.R. Rahman is saying, okay, you practice the song, I'm leaving now. I'll come back and then we'll do the rehearsal. So once the when A.R. Rahman goes out of the studio, the senior instructor, senior singer will again teach the junior singer the song multiple times. So this practice keeps going. When this practice keeps going, the junior singer Neo will learn the song. Okay, so this is the story. Now, let me connect this to how it works, how it connects to this concept. So, when we are listening to a lecture, this thing happens, that orchestration of things happen. The information comes into the hippocampus and neocortex. Then we are out of that session. We are going out, we are doing other things. We are doing like doing other responsibilities in our life. So in the back of the brain, the neocortex and hippocampus, they work together and strengthen what they have learned. So like once Yaraman goes out of the studio, the singer again teaches the junior singer, and the junior singer keeps practicing, and then at one point the junior singer doesn't need the senior singer at all. It can sing, she can just sing by herself. She has already practiced it well. So uh, when now there, when the composer Rahman comes back, okay, now Neo, can you sing the song that I taught you yesterday? Now hippocampus can just rest. Neo will take care of everything because it has already learnt it. So hippocampus, here the role of hippocampus is like indexing of the things that we learn. Initially when we are learning it, it will act like an index. Okay, these are the things we have to learn and these are the things we have to learn. But hippocampus will not remember everything. It will just act as a bridge while we are learning. Once the neocortex has got the information fully, it will become like a strong neural pattern like shown here, like how we saw in the first image the neurons connect together. Like that they will become a very strong pattern. After that, the role of hippocampus will not be there for this, because this particular subject we have mastered. Then working memory will be able to directly get that information from neocortex. So this is how the long term memory works. And I know this is little complex, so that's why this parable will help us to understand. So once we understand this, we will have some takeaway from this lesson. Okay, so the takeaway here is I talked about that when working memory goes out of the picture, still the rehearsal happens in the back of the brain. So what I'm trying to say is when you're studying things, if you are trying to cram things together on one day, like we will drop everything. Instead, if we are studying things repeatedly on daily basis, we are giving breaks between the study. During that breaks, what happens? This process of rehearsing in the back end happens. So hippocampus and neocortex work together for us, and they try to put the information back into the long term memory. And then again you give a gap and again you are studying something new, and it will extend that neural connection like that, one by one, step by step. So that's how this declarative system works. So it is very important for us to give focused attention and study the things, and again give a break for our brain to process it in the back end. That way it will help us. And also during the sleep also, this will help brain to process the things what we learned. So sleep is also very important in this declarative system. So next, second system is procedural system. Okay, so procedural system is little different. This is another way of learning things. So best example is, I can say, is driving. Like for learning driving, you need to, when you keep practicing it, it is like a automatic thing that happens at one point. When you do things multiple times repeatedly, it becomes an habit, and automatically you are able to do the things. And you can give a lot of examples, like every habit is learned through procedural system. Like morning, like automatically you go and brush your teeth, you don't think, okay, I have to go and brush my teeth. Or like whatever you are doing on a daily basis, automatically you never think about it consciously. So those are the things we learn through procedural system. So like habit formation, it happens like non-conscious. Like these are like skills, task. Like for example, at your work, like in my example, like writing a query or writing a code, as in my IT field. And like in your own example, like you will do some things routine basis, right? Like an habit, which is like very intuitive. Yeah, speaking in native language, it's the best example because we speak fluently without even like thinking about it. And practical learning. So for example, when I'm trying to learn some things, like a new technology I'm trying to learn, a new programming language I'm trying to learn. So when I'm trying to do a lot of coding, that's the way in which like I'm practicing and doing it and learning it. So it will make it like a habit, and it will like help me to remember the things. And I'm not doing it consciously, but for example, if you take yeah, driving is the best example. That when I'm learning it for the first time, like I'll be like so focused. Okay, I need to take left here, so I need to see whether people are crossing the road. So many things will be going on. But as I keep practicing multiple times, it will register in my long term memory. After that, at one point, without even thinking, I would have driven from one place to another place, thinking about something else also in the mind. So that is procedural system, habit formation. So if you want to understand the science behind how it works, there is a small organ called basal ganglia in our brain. So this basal ganglia is primarily responsible for us, helping us to develop the habits or learning things through procedural system. So when we are trying to practice the things repeatedly, it becomes a uh, repeated action. It goes and stores in the brain. Like it will think, okay, hey, she is doing this. Yesterday also she did this. Today also she did this. Like this, the brain will think, okay, I need to store this in my brain so that next time we can do this easier. Like that, brain will decide and it will go and store that information. It all will happen unconsciously. We will not even be like aware of this happening. So that is procedural system. And for example, like even like our behavior, like some of our behavior which we do it in a habitual way, sometimes it all comes through this procedural system. So the one thing here is, like, it's very hard for us to know what we have learned through the procedural system consciously. Sometimes, we might also have learned like few things uh, unnecessary also, like through the procedural system. Like unconsciously we learn some things, right? Those all happens through procedural system. Like a bad behavior we might learn from someone which we don't want to learn, right? But that might have happened through the procedural system. So author also tells like it's like a black box. You don't, sometimes we don't know like what we have learned through procedural system in a conscious way. So that is all staying back in our brain, which we have learned unconsciously. So that is how that is the procedural system, basal ganglia. So now, okay, we have understood the two different system, right? So what is the importance of knowing these two is, when we are trying to learn something new, we can make sure we are using both the systems. When we are using both the systems, it will make our learning more stronger in our long term memory. So declarative learning system is something like, let me give you an example of a training session which I attended. So I went to a training session for learning AWS services. It's a cloud company. So in they provided a they provided a training on data services. So I attended the training. In the training, they gave 1 hour lecture on the service what they are providing and how the service works, what is the architecture, what are the service behind this. So in the front end we see this service, but what is acting back of the service, and then they explained the architecture behind it. After that, we had another session where they gave us like access to the lab environment, and then they also gave some credential to log in and do some uh, so implement some of these things which we learned practically by using the service, going to the console, logging into that console, creating that particular service, connecting it to the another service and bringing the data. So we were doing it practically. So in the first session I was learning it through declarative system, and in the second session I was learning it through labs by actually going and doing it. So when I want to become a master of this particular subject, I need to also build my conceptual understanding through declarative system. How I want to understand how this works together, and get a understanding whole picture of what I'm trying to learn, and go back and start doing the things hands on, use the service, go and build this particular job, create the scripts, write the coding, everything I need to do hands on through procedural system. Only then whatever I learned conceptually, I'll be able to connect it and see in a procedural way. So using both systems will help me to learn the concepts better. So in case of books, okay, so we all are familiar with books, and I know it will connect, this example will connect with all of you. We read a lot of books and we try to learn a lot of things in the declarative system. Now, the next step to make that stay longer in our long term memory, the next step is going and trying to implement in our life. Like taking action on the things that we learned and implement it and see experientially, okay, this is what I learned, this is what I implemented, this is what change I have experienced. That will strengthen our knowledge. So another example I can give you is finance. We all want to learn things about finance, how personal finance works, how the market works and everything. We will listen to podcasts, we'll listen to financial influencers, and we learn things through what they are teaching us. That is all through declarative system. But when we go back and try to like save the money, automate our savings, automate the investment, do those things practically, invest and see. When we do those things practically, that's when the procedural system comes into play, and that concept becomes more stronger in our memory. So these are like three examples I felt be more easy to explain. So that's way you can use it for your personal things. When you learn new things, you can use the declarative system, understand the concept, and go back and use the procedural system, implement it, and learn it through the procedural system by practicing it. So the yeah, and next thing is about the neural reuse theory, which already Sriram sir highlighted earlier, like trying to learn it using examples, so using metaphor, analogy, so that will help us to understand the concept more easily, because the reason being we have some understanding of some concept already in our brain. There is some strong neural connection of one particular topic. So we are trying to learn another topic. What we are trying to do is, okay, I'm trying to connect this new concept to whatever I know already, and try to link it with all what I know already. That way, the neural patterns also will be linked together in our brain. So it is easy to, one thing is already we have a neural pattern which it will easily go and link together and become stronger. That is the advantage. It will help us to learn it faster. So, and it will also help us to understand the concept more easily. So that's the like magic of using a metaphor and analogy. So this will really help you. And I want to give you one very good example of this. There is a YouTube channel called Error Makes Clever. So these guys are like all are like youngsters who have like few years of IT experience, and they have started a YouTube channel teaching the concepts in a very simple term to the learners on YouTube. So in that, I saw one video. Like I used to go through all those videos for me to help me to understand a lot of concepts. So in that, he explained about concept called API call. So for me, the concept of API call is very hard for me to understand, because I am working in the data side. I'm a data engineer. So the web application and all those terminologies are very difficult to understand. So I went and watched one of the video where he explained about what is API call with a funny example, funny analogy. Okay, so what he is telling is he's doing it with a friend along with him. He is doing like a play. He's telling, okay, the mom is telling the son, hey, go and borrow some urad from neighbor auntie. We don't have this to prepare. I need it urgently. So she sends the son to the neighbor house, and he goes. He asks the auntie, "Can you please give a little bit of urad dal? Ulundu, Amma asked this." So she gives some urad dal, and he comes back and gives it to his mom. So this is he's relating this to how API call works. So if anyone goes and asks neighboring auntie to give murad dal, she will not give, right? She knows this guy is staying next house, and they are their friends, so they are asking for help, and she will give it. Same way in web console, the web application API call works. So the API call is like sending information from one website to another website, and they also have some. It will only allow certain website to access certain website or a thing to access that particular API. That's how it works. So when I saw this example, it was so good. Like finally, that concept was so clear for me. Okay, this is what is happening in the backend. And I know this is a very complex example I'm explaining you, but this was a very this was the first thing which came into my mind when I was talking about metaphor and analogy. In this channel, if you go and watch it, it will be funny. He has shared like so many examples like that. It's like funny to watch and learn from that. So he is basically using the neural reuse theory of connecting the things, teaching the things by connecting it with another thing that the person already knows. So that's the beauty of it. And I know it is a very long session, so I'll quickly give you these two topics and I'll conclude the session. Another topic is focused mode and diffuse mode are the two modes of thinking in our brain. Focus mode is, I think we already learnt about this in one more book session on mind shift, the same author Barbara Oakley. So I'll again reiterate what we learned. Focus mode is when we are trying to focus on one thing, putting all our attention in one single task and trying to learn or do that particular task. So that is focus mode. This happens when we are trying to learn a new skill or reading a book or trying to learn something new where we want more focus on the subject. Second mode is diffuse mode where we are not focusing on anything particular. Like for example, we are going on a walk, we are traveling in a bus, or we are just listening to music, doing chores. So like we are not consciously putting so much effort in focusing on something. So it is the mind is in diffuse mode. In this mode, so the thoughts will flow freely, and the thoughts will be so random. Like wow, I'll think about something, I'll think about office, suddenly I'll think about home. Like that, the thoughts will be going random in the diffuse mode. So when we are trying to learn something, we go into the diffuse mode. We go into the focus mode and focus and try to learn the concept, right? So that we all know. But we need to give a break for us to go to the diffuse mode. That is where like the thought, like that is where like brain consolidates the information, and it consolidates the information in the back end, like we learned how the hippocampus and the neocortex works. So that break will help us to remember the things better. So in the diffuse mode only, we will be like surprisingly able to connect two different things. So suddenly you will be able to connect one particular thing from one subject and to another subject. Like that, the creativity happens only in diffuse mode. So you need to allow yourself to be in diffuse mode, relax yourself to let yourself be in diffuse mode, so that what you learned in focus mode will help you to be more creative and use it more efficiently. So that's a different mode of thinking, and for that this also helps to understand how we can stop procrastinating. So procrastination is the topic which is like number one problem for students, and I should be honest, like it's a number one problem for all of us. So we try to procrastinate a lot of things. We still face procrastination, right? So we can use this two technique to overcome this. One is Pomodoro technique, where we can set a timer for 25 minutes and be in focus mode and learn things or do the challenging thing that you have been like trying to avoid or trying to escape from. So in order to do that, you just tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to do only 25 minutes and keep the timer. Take out all the distraction, phone, everything from your surrounding, and then for 25 minutes, put all your focus on the task you're doing. And then the timer will ring after 25 minutes. Then now you can take a 5 minutes break. After 5 minutes break, you can just go back and do another 25 minutes of focused work. So that is Pomodoro technique, which will help you to overcome the procrastination. So this timer can be different. It doesn't have to be 25 minutes. Okay. So for adults, you can think of this, the focus time of an adult is the age plus 1. Our age plus 1, that many minutes we can continuously focus. So you can keep timer for that. So for example, for adolescent like teenagers, for them it will be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They cannot focus more than that continuously. So they can have timer for 20 minutes and do something and then take a break for 5 minutes. Then again do 20 minutes timer and do the things in the 20 minutes. Like that you can do it. This will help us to overcome the procrastination. Second thing is chunking. So there is a concept called chunking. So if you have like a huge assignment to do, if you look at it, like obviously we'll get scared. Oh God, this is like too big project. How can I do this? So it will be so intimidating for us. So for that, what we can do is we can break down the big project into small chunks and focus on one chunk first, one by one. So just tell yourself, okay, I'll just do this first a chunk of this project and then you do it. So that way you will not like you will be able to overcome the procrastination. So procrastination happens with the feeling of unhappiness or that pain in this area called insular cortex. So that is very real, like we feel that pain just like any other pain. We feel that pain in our mind and also like an unhappy feeling. So to overcome that pain, we can practice these tips and see if we are able to overcome the procrastination. And finally, importance of sleep. As I mentioned earlier, like it helps in consolidating the memory, and the hippocampus and neocortex works in the back end without our conscious. So this all happens during sleep as well, and it also important for restoration and repair. So that is important point to remember. And the last point is exercise. Exercise can make a huge difference in our learning. You know the reason, I understood the reason after reading this book, because when we learnt about that dendrites having those toes, like I told, right, it has like legs and toes are there in the neurons. So the toes are that dendritic spines I mentioned, right, that it will have like so many spines when we do exercise. So when we keep doing exercise, these dendrites will grow more. So what this way what will happen is you will be connecting to more neurons. You will be able to, the learning process will become so easy because you have like in the neuron, like you have like so many dendritic spines that can connect all the other neurons next to it. So the way it works is there is a chemical called BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor. So this is like a fertilizer for our brain, and that fertilizer what it makes these dendrites spines to grow, so which will help you to go and that it will connect with multiple neurons. So more exercise we do, the more BDNF will increase in our brain, and it will help us in forming more neural connection easily. So that's how it helps us. So I have covered the most important topics from this book. I know it's like too complex to understand. Take it slow. You can go through the course. My strong recommendation is to go through the course, so you'll get the complete understanding of it, because they have explained it in very good way. So it will help you better, I think. So I'll conclude my speech here, and I'll open the forum for discussion and feel free to share your feedback and also the way how you learn and how things work for you. So I'll be happy to listen and learn from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patience. I will end the session here and stop the sharing.
Super.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Nitya Devi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Who? யார் பேசினா first I didn't.
Okay, ma'am. எனக்கு அந்த
நித்யதேவி
பொம்மையோட மெத்தட் ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
Okay, okay.
பேசுங்க சார்.
இல்ல தேவி மேம் தான் பேசணும்னு சொன்னீங்க.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay.
அதான் சொல்ல வந்தேன். ஸோ ஐ வில் கோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட். இதுல எனக்கு இன்னொரு கான்செப்ட் கூட இருக்கு. இஃப் யூ ஆல் ரிமெம்பர், நம்ம மூவிஸ் பாத்தீங்கன்னா வி சிட் இன்சைட் அ ஃபுல்லி கவர்ட் வித்தவுட் லைட்ஸ், ஒரு ஆடியோ வீடியோ விஷுவல் பார்க்குறோம். இந்த ஆடியோ வீடியோ விஷுவல்ஸ் வி ஸ்டில் ரிமெம்பர். இப்போ வந்து அலைப்பாயுதே மூவி எடுத்தாங்கன்னா வி ஸ்டில் ரிமெம்பர் சம் ஆஃப் த சீன்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் இட். How are we able to recollect? Because we are in a very dark room and we are given audio video visuals, and there is a flow of that story. அது நம்ம how are we able to recollect is because it goes and sits. So this is another method where students who are not learning, they are given in a dark room to do this audio video visual, like movie theater madri. They try to remember. This is also another method which I know. அதனால அதுவும் இங்க எம்பசைஸ் பண்ணோம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Chitra
Okay,
ma'am,
okay.
thanks a lot. Wonderful. It was more like a biological session. Legs இருக்கு, hand இருக்கு, how it is, tentacles ஒன்னும். It was wonderful, and especially on the Pomodoro technique I have been using for so many years. I usually use a 50-10 or a 25-5. இது பண்ணுவேன். 15 minutes of concentration, 10 minutes of the
Okay,
usually
sir.
Pomodoro I have been using from 2012. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ நான் எப்படி டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பண்ணலாம்னா that is one of the best technique, and focus makes you, as you mentioned, focus drives you. இதுல அந்த இந்த the long term memoryல second part, that is you are saying one is descriptive and another one is what is it?
Yeah, declarative and procedural, sir. Declarative.
Procedural. In the procedural, I see this octopus is all its hands and legs are all tied up, or அந்த மாதிரி தான் image இருக்கு. What is the reason? Chitra, any idea? How?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is basically the working memories role is very less in the procedural learning, sir,
Oh,
because
okay, okay.
we are learning through organ called basal ganglia.
Oh.
So that whatever we do, like it try to register it in
But
the.
in the, I think the hands-on experiences, or to teach the trainer, or hands-on experimental learnings, experimental learnings. நம்ம அந்த physics labல எல்லாம் போட்டு பண்ணி பார்ப்போம்ல. Such things are procedural learnings நினைக்கிறேன். அதுல தான்
Yes,
இந்த
yes, correct, sir.
கரெக்ட் தானே?
Yeah, when we do that
Then
in the lab, we try to like do that experiment and see. So when you're
uh,
doing it, it's procedural learning. Yes, sir.
okay, okay, okay. Good to know. Thanks a lot once again. Wonderful for this forum, and I'm happy about it. Thanks a lot, Chitra.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is like a very complex subject to understand. So thanks all of you for staying patiently and listening. Yeah, you can raise your hand if you want to share something. Like we'll
ஆ, ரொம்ப
follow.
எக்ஸலண்டா இருந்ததுமா. எக்ஸலண்ட் பிரசன்டேஷன்,
Thank you,
சூப்பர்
ma'am. Thank you.
பிரசன்டேஷன். அண்ட் நீங்க அந்த காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் சப்ஜெக்டை வந்து நல்லா சிம்பிளிஃபை பண்ணி ஈஸியா டைஜஸ்ட் ஆகிற மாதிரி கொடுத்துட்டீங்க. இட்ஸ்
Okay,
ரியலி
ma'am.
நைஸ். அண்ட் எனக்கு அந்த உளுந்து கதையோட ஒரு சேனல் சொன்னீங்க இல்லையா?
Yeah, error makes clever. Yes, ma'am.
அது என்ன எரர்?
Error makes clever channel name is Error Makes Clever.
Oh, Error Makes Clever. Okay, okay. It's
அது பார்க்க
beautiful, ma'am.
முடியல இருந்து. Yeah, we were unable to see because your video was on top of that
Correct.
written.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
were.
correct. Let me put it in the chat.
Yeah,
Error
sure.
Makes.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. I would recommend, if possible, please do that course, ma'am. It's really like mind blowing. Like you will not be disappointed. It's really good course, ma'am. It's there on Coursera. Yeah.
It is a
Okay.
course?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I was telling in the starting, right? So
Oh.
this book is also they have put it as a course in Coursera, and they have taught these things with the help of animation. So you can see all these things like with animation in the background. So it's very, you won't even feel like a course. It's like very like informative and fun video to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there in Coursera. It may not be a free course, but maybe you can take the trial version and then you can go through the course. It's really good, man. They
Mm-hmm.
have explained it so well. Like all these three professors, they have explained it. They'll also come in that video. Like they'll be there in the video explaining the things. So it's fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the information. We'll try.
Thank you. Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Rami, ma'am, பேசுங்க. You can talk.
எஸ் மேம், குட் ஈவினிங். ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது மேம். அந்த டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் லேர்னர்ஸ், ரேஸ் கார் லேர்னர், ஹைக்கர் லேர்னர் பத்தி நீங்க சொன்னது, அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து அந்த ப்ரொசீஜரல் சிஸ்டம் அண்ட் டிக்ளரேட்டிவ் சிஸ்டம் பத்தி சொன்னது, இந்த நியூரான்ஸ் எல்லாம் எப்படி எல்லாம் கனெக்ட் ஆகுது. வெரி நைஸ் மேம், ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. அந்த ஃபோக்கஸ்டு மோட், டிஃப்யூஸ்ட் மோட்லாம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நல்லா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த இதெல்லாம் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸ்லீப் நல்லா பண்ணணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணணும். இதுக்கெல்லாம் பண்ணோம்னா இந்த நியூரான்ஸ் கூட கனெக்ட் ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் யூடியூப் சேனல் ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க, கோர்ஸ் எல்லாம் ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. செஷன் வாஸ் வெரி வெரி யூஸ்ஃபுல். நிறைய விஷயங்கள் தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடிஞ்சு. கலர்ஃபுல்லான ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் ஸ்லைட்ஸ். தேங்க்ஸ் அ லாட் மேம். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.
Thank you so much, Rami, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay. Nitya Devi, ma'am, you can speak, ma'am.
அனைவருக்கும் உற்சாகமான இரவு வணக்கம். எப்பயுமே உங்களுடைய இந்த புத்தக தேர்வு வந்து ரொம்ப சிறப்பா இருக்கும். புத்தகத்தை தேர்ந்தெடுக்கிறது, அது மைண்ட் ஷிஃப்டா இருக்கட்டும், மைண்ட் செட்டிங்கா இருக்கட்டும். இன்னைக்கு எடுத்துக்கிட்டு வந்த அன்காமன் சென்ஸ், என்னடா காமன் சென்ஸை பத்தி வித்தியாசமா இருக்கே புத்தகம் தலைப்பே அப்படின்றதுதான் ஒரு அவசரம். நான் 1995லயே வந்து ஒரு 25 நிமிஷம் ஒரு 5 மார்க் கேள்வியை ஒரு 5 கேள்வியை ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிட்டு 5 கேள்வி நான் படிச்சுட்டேன், 5 நிமிஷம் நான் ரெஸ்ட் எடுப்பேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஓடுன ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. அப்புறமா தான் அதுக்கு பேர பொம்மட்டாரான்னு சொல்லும் பொழுது எனக்கு அது ரீசன்ட் டேஸ்க்கு ஒரு வருஷம் 2 வருஷம் முன்னாடிதான் அது எனக்கு கேள்வி பேர் பொம்மட்டாரா அப்படின்னு. அதை நீங்க சொல்லும் போது எனக்கு என்ஜாய்மெண்டா இருந்துச்சு. அப்புறம் ப்ரொகாஸ்டினேஷன் சொல்லிட்டு ஏற்கனவே சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க, நிறைய பெருசாவே விரிவாக்கமா சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. அதான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நம்பர் 1 ப்ராப்ளம் அப்படின்னு நீங்க சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கும்போது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து கிராஸ் பண்ணுச்சு. வெரி குட் ஆன்டி நீங்க, இது என்னோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ராப்ளம் தான், ஐ எம் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த இடத்துல அது ஒரு ஃபீட்பேக் மாதிரி லைட்டா சொல்லிட்டு அப்படி போயிடுச்சு. ஏன்னா நம்ம மியூட்ல தானே இருப்போம்னால தெரியாதுல. என்ன பாப்பா அப்படின்னு. ஆமா, அவங்க கரெக்டா சொல்றாங்க பாருங்களேன். என்னுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ராப்ளமே இதுதான், பிறகு செஞ்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்றது. இந்த காலம் தாழ்த்தாமை அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். அப்ப டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பத்தி சொல்றாங்களா அப்படின்றது. இப்ப போய் தேடினேன். எரர் மிக்ஸ் கிளவர், நல்ல வேர்டு. ஆனா எரர் மேக்ஸ் கிளவர் தான் இருக்குது. அதை மட்டும் எனக்கு கரெக்ட் பண்ணி
இருங்க,
சொல்லுங்க.
நான் உங்களுக்கு ஓகே, நான் கரெக்ட் பண்ணி.
இல்லைன்னா ஒண்ணு தேடி தந்துருங்க. இதுக்கு இடையில கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் ஷிஃப்ட் ஆகி போற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. ஆனா நல்ல பிரெயினோடைய அந்த படமாகட்டும், அந்த சொன்ன விதமாகட்டும் எல்லாம் ரொம்ப அருமையா இருந்துச்சு. முழுமையா லயிக்க முடியலன்னு ஒரு வருத்தம் இருந்துச்சு. சரி, நம்ம அப்புறமா சித்ரா மேம் யூடியூப்ல போய் பார்த்துப்போம் அப்படின்ட்டு. ஆனா ரொம்ப அருமையான புத்தகம், மெனக்கடல் ரொம்ப அருமையா இருக்கு. இது இந்த குழந்தைங்களுக்கும் நான் அதை போய் சொல்லுவேன். இப்ப ஐயா சொன்னாரு ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆன், நம்ம ஸ்ரீராம் சார் சொல்லும் போது ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆன். நாங்க வந்து ஏதாவது ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டர் சென்டருக்கு போய் ஹைடெக் ஓரியன்டா அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு ட்ரைனிங் கொடுப்பாங்கல்ல. அப்பதான் நான் ஐ ஃபீல் நம்ம சொல்லி கொடுத்தா மட்டும் பத்தாது, அதை நம்ம அதை பழக விடணும். எரர் மேக்ஸ் கிளவர் தான் இருந்துச்சு, அதனால தான் சொல்றேன். ஏன்னா நாங்க ட்ரையல் அண்ட் எரர் மெத்தடு நாங்க மேக்சிமம் செய்வோம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தப்பா செய், அப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம் சரியா வர்றதுக்கு. இன்டெலிஜென்ட் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வேண்டாம். ஏன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் முட்டா கலதையா இருந்து அப்புறமா கூமுட்டை அப்புறமா காமுட்டையா மாறி அப்புறமா பெரிய லெவல்ல போகலாம் அப்படின்றது சும்மா கலோக்கியெல்லாம் சொல்ற மாதிரி சொல்லுவோம். இந்த இது நான் பார்த்தேன், இந்த பசங்களை எல்லாம் பார்த்தேன். கரெக்டா, தேங்க்யூ மேம். ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சூப்பரா இருந்துச்சு. மென்மேலும் வளர வாழ்த்துக்கள். நாங்களும் ட்ரை பண்றோம். நிறைய விஷயத்த போய் ஷேர் பண்ணிடுறேன். ஏன்னா எனக்கிட்ட கொடுத்துட்டீங்கல்ல, நான் ஒரு நாளைக்கு எப்படி 200 சொல்லிடுவேன். கவலையே படாதீங்க. தேங்க்யூ, தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.
சூப்பர் மேம், சூப்பர். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் மேம். அதெல்லாம் சர்ச் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு போட்டிருக்கேன் அந்த இது. இதுதான் ஆக்சுவலாக
ஆமா
நான்
பார்த்தேன்.
ஆமாம்.
ஆமா, அதுதான் அந்த இது நீங்க சொல்லும் பொழுது உங்களுடைய செஷன்ல இருந்து நான் எங்கேயாவது போய் ஏதாவது ஒரு ட்ரைனிங் அட்டன் பண்ணும்போது என்ன உனக்கு ஆல்ரெடி தெரியுதுன்னே சொல்ற, எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் முந்திரி கொட்ட மாதிரி அந்த கண்கள்லே தெரிஞ்சிடும், ஐபால்லே தெரிஞ்சிடும். யூ நோன் அன்னோன் இல்ல இன்னசென்ட் அந்த ஏதாவது தெரிஞ்சிடும். அப்ப அவங்க சொல்ல ஆல்ரெடி மேம் வந்து டீச் இன் புக் ரிவ்யூ செஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லுவேன். உங்களை சொல்லுவேன். எனக்கு அது ஹாப்பியா இருந்துச்சு. தேங்க்யூ, தேங்க்யூ.
Chitra, the Coursera subject என்ன? What is that?
சார் கோர்ஸரால அன்காமன் சென்ஸ் டீச்சிங் அந்த
Okay, sense teaching. Okay, common sense.
இதுல வந்து யா இதுதான் இந்த கோர்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலா, அன்காமன் சென்ஸ் டீச்சிங்.
Okay.
அதே நேம்ல புக்கும் பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I will look into it.
Okay, sir. So if you like once you have done this course, I can recommend more courses of the same author. Learning how to learn, there is a course learning how to learn. That is like a basics behind this course. So that will give like a foundational thing, sir, that we discussed in the previous book session in Mind Shift. So so what I'll do, let me ping you all the three. One is this uncommon sense teaching, and second one is okay, if you want to go in the order, learning how to learn, Mind Shift. So these are the links.
Okay. எனக்கு just on the chatல போட்டுருங்க. It will be helpful. Thanks a lot. Now already Coursera. Coursera.
Yeah, these three are really good. These three courses I will recommend all of you. This learning how to learn and Mind Shift is a free course. Anyone can do. We can audit the course. So you can start with that, and then you can also listen to Uncommon Sense Teaching. So all three courses are good. If you go in that order, you'll have a flow. Like okay, learning how to learn, Mind Shift, and then the Uncommon Sense Teaching. So okay, so nice. Thank you very much, and thank you Nitya Devi ma'am for your feedback. Let me see if anyone wants to share feedback.
மேம் சொல்றேன்.
Chitra, excellent section actually. ஏதோ பயாலஜி கிளாஸ் அட்டென்ட் பண்ண மாதிரி இருந்தது இந்த
Thank you ma'am, thank you. It was very hard to explain ma'am, because understanding is okay, explaining I don't know whether I was able to
the
really
brainோட anatomy was அதோட parts every parts you have but you have made it you have made it simpler by giving first part.
I think
I entered
your
only when
voice
you were
is
saying about hiker, learner, and car race. Yeah, you are not able to hear me?
now I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, actually I entered late. Yeah, when you are giving a hiker learner, then declarative system and the procedural system, no, do
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
different you have given. That's okay. And one more thing you have given: focus mode and diffuse mode. It was also good. Then importance of
So,
both the systems, procedural and focus.
yes, ma'am. And like my main
Nice,
goal
Chitra.
for this
Thank you.
session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. My main goal for the session was somehow convince everyone to go and do that course in Coursera. So that was my.
Yeah, you have made it. Yeah. No,
So
actually, for me, teaching my child, no, she's 10 years old. அவளை படிக்க வைக்கிறதே is a big thing for
okay,
me. I
okay.
think a few of these I can implement for her. No,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
so she
Yes.
studies well, but she will not sit. No, she won't sit. She is an
Right, right.
hyperactive kid.
Okay, okay. Correct.
So to
Yeah.
make her study, it's a big thing for me.
Okay, okay. Okay, ma'am. I understand. Thank you, Srekha, ma'am. Thank you very much. Uh, Lakshmi, ma'am.
Chitra ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, ma'am.
yes, yes. Chitra ma'am. Excellent session, ma'am. Very nice. And really, you took us back to our biology class by showing the neurons and the pictures and explaining each every part of the picture. Really, we were able to recollect our classes, biology classes. It was very helpful, ma'am. And the last point which you explained, like why what is the necessity of studying on a daily basis rather than studying at the neck point of the exam. So what is the difference? You told us and explained us how the memory plays the role,
Question ஏதாவது
important vital
கேட்கணுமா?
role in the step. So it's really very helpful, and we understood the concept. So thank you so much, ma'am. And regarding your YouTube channel, what is the name, ma'am?
Uh, yeah, it is Chitra. It will start with my name, ma'am. I'll ping you.
Okay.
I'll ping you, ma'am. So 1 second. Let me.